What's the motherfucking deal, Sauce Nation? I hope y'all are having a significant Saturday, maybe a super Saturday. I don't know what, something with S. We be trying to use that wordplay and all that good shit. But man, I hope y'all having a good time, man. Welcome to Sauce Sports. If you're not familiar with Sauce Sports is a Houston, Texas homer network. We talking all sports, but only Houston, man. With that being said, we're gonna get into a few things, man. We got some OGs we ain't seen in a minute. They back up in it, and it's good to see them, man. It's always good to see them, you know what I'm saying? So we going to have some love going on, man. Who we got in the mix with us tonight, man, for those who don't know?
Man, it's your boy Swisher in the mix, man. What's going down? I know it's been a minute, but your boy back. Come at it. Let's get it.
Already.
Hey, man, it's your boy Scrooston, man. Hey, the wait is over. The wait is over. You got it. The wait is over.
They said that boy Scrooston went from J. Cole to Mike Evans. God damn.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Hey, look, the wait is over, baby. Hey, we back. You can say whatever you want to say.
Already, man. It's good to see y'all. But we got to get into the most important motherfucking topic tonight before we talk about anything else. And if y'all don't know what that is, man, it's motherfucking me. You the freshest motherfucking ingredients in the world, man. And we appreciate y'all tuning in every single night. So we're going to see who we got pumping in the chat tonight. And then we're gonna get in it to win it. Let me get this shit open. Let me let y'all know, hey, like I say, man, I be doing too much for my own good sometimes, but we're gonna get everything caught up. All right, let's see what we got in the motherfucking chat, man. Let's talk about that. And let's see who bringing some flavor to the sauce tonight. I see Nathan King say you first. T-Mac 34, what's the motherfucking deal? Texas boy Kenneth, what's the motherfucking deal? Hector Rodriguez 335. I see Wink in the mix. Beast Mode engaged. Seth Clark, Mr. Asian Pikachu, the best of all the Pikachus. Chase King, Miss Voodoo C, what's the motherfucking deal? Josh Cooper, Max Vasquez, what's the motherfucking deal? Trey, Mark Parrish, Jack Triple, the motherfucking Pimp Threes Company, KS 857, Seth Clark, Anthony Bailey, XOJ, what's the motherfucking deal? Reid. yeah, I tell niggas that all the time, man. That's a do it. What's the motherfucking deal? Sandy Ravage, okay. What's the motherfucking deal? Y'all with these days be killing me, man. Days, what's the motherfucking deal? Yes, you already know. Hey, if they wasn't in the Kush Den, they don't know about that. That's some Kush Den exclusive shit right there. Shout out to Dave. Days. King 88, what's the motherfucking deal? Unique, always good to see you. You always bring a unique presence. Hold up. Joshua Jaja, OG 77013, what's the motherfucking deal? Jimmy R, what's the motherfucking deal? And we're gonna dive into it, man. We finna get into some conversation. We're gonna talk about some of these situations, and we're just gonna talk about kind of briefly what's taking place today. The Texans were back in town, and I ain't gonna say the boys were back in town because I always thought that song was kind of suspect. Wasn't ever sure of the real meaning of that. That just always seemed a little strange to me. But, hey, it is what it is. But the Texans are back in town. And they kind of had a couple little interviews. They kind of were shorts and in helmets today. Wasn't full pads or anything like that. But some interviews and some things were given. And just something I noticed, something I wanted to discuss. And, of course, we all say it and we all talk about it. And it's nothing really new, I guess you would say. But I was just kind of thinking the way this fan base, for one, and I know we're excited. That's one thing. We've been excited since we picked him up. But the coaching staff, even the writers around town, and even some of the national media. What I was going to ask you guys, and I'll put my input at the end. We'll start off with Scrooston, and then we'll get to that boy Swisher. Have you ever heard the praise for a quarterback in a Houston Texans uniform like you've heard for Deshaun Watson? So let me know how you feel about that, Scrooston, and then we'll jump to Swish on his thoughts.
I mean, it's a real intricate situation because this is the most hyped quarterback we've had by far. I would say that, but also you got to think about Matt Schaub. When we had an excellent season and everybody was like, "Oh, okay, Matt Schaub looking nice. Matt Schaub can get us there." I mean, it's not the same in comparison, but we've always had those hopes of, you know, the next and best quarterback, and everybody's been like, oh, well, you know, this is the guy, or this is the guy, or this is the guy. But I think it's a little different because now we have Deshaun Watson coming off of, you know, he's an NCAA championship winner, national champion, all ACC, first team, you know, and even came in as a rookie in the NFL in the hardest competition of grown men, and he put up numbers that were definitely impressive, especially for a rookie and especially for somebody of his stature to do something like that. That's really great. So I think the hype is different. We've seen it before, but not on this magnitude. But I think it's also a good hype and something good to look forward in the future because we see flashes of promise and you know, good things like that, man.
All right. Okay, cool. You know, and yeah, I definitely recall the Schaub situation, and then we saw how Schaub exited the situation. It was much different. I don't expect that to happen with Deshaun Watson. If that ever does, then I think we just really got some throw-it-out fans. We have throw-it-out fans either way. Swisher, a.k.a. Darren Davis, Double D. What's your motherfucking thoughts on that? I mean, have you ever seen that the kind of love for a quarterback in the city of Houston, maybe outside of U of H's Case Keenum, but on that level, but you know, people don't fuck with U of H like that. You know, that might be just a homer thing. But have you ever seen the love for a quarterback in a Houston uniform like you've seen for Deshaun Watson?
No, and rightfully so. I mean, as Parrish said, we saw those flashes with Schaub, and it was like, okay, he could probably do some things, but me as a fan, just being able to look at the big picture, I was like, yeah, this guy, he's only going to be able to put up good numbers, but he's not going to be able to win crucial games for us. Now, once we got Watson, I was like, okay, we know we have that guy because not only did he produce at the collegiate level, but the team that we played, they weren't slouches. New England, that was a hell of a game. The Tennessee game, where Titans fans just seem to want to forget, he balled out in that game. I mean, the dude, it's just period. No.
Okay, so you think it's a one-of-a-kind thing. This is first one. Now, what I'm saying is because, like I said, I've seen people just kind of address Watson in a much different manner for him to be such a young quarterback. I've seen people just the way that they were speaking on. I was catching some Pat D Stat, you know, definitely one of my favorite guys to hear from. Definitely not John McClain. Yeah, I had to throw some shade in there. But, you know, he was talking about it. He was back at practice today, which is great to hear, man, because, you know, he was recovering from that whole situation. So shout out Pat D Stat, man. Like I say, definitely one of the best follows when it comes to Houston Texans information, man. So shout out to him. But he was just talking about the way that Watson has a command of this offense. But I don't think as a quarterback you can command an offense unless your peers respect you, unless they have faith in what you're able to bring to the table. Because you can't just be no peon and go out there barking and yelling. And be like, who the fuck is this dude? And, you know, so sometimes, you know, you'll have guys who will deliberately let you fuck up just to make you look bad. You know what I mean? That's just kind of how it is if they don't respect you like that. You know, I have O-linemen to whiff on blocks and do kind of things like that. But I think they said he goes out here, he commands, after the plays, he speaks with the O-lineman, he speaks with the receivers. You know, he makes sure that everything is on point after every play, you know, trying to work on mistakes. He's building great rapport with Will Fuller, which is amazing because we saw what they did last year with no real connection, no time to work with each other. And, I mean, came in instantly like that. Now that he understands his route running, now that he understands the way that he operates, I think we're going to see, I'm loving Hop and Watson. But I think it's about to be something real special in what Will is going to be able to do because, you know, the way his route running has improved, the way his hands have seemed to improve, and the fact that he's actually put on some muscle, I think is going to be a good look for him. Now, I don't want to transition to another position. I want to transfer to the running back position because we talked about how Will has put on muscle. We talked about how, you know, Kjo has put on muscle. But let's talk about how Miller has lost weight and has looked significantly better. And I think that's a very important factor. Now, Miller, I'm not worried about his position. I'm not worried about him, you know, not being able to sustain. I mean, we saw some good bursts from him, and if he can continue on like that all year, I expect, you know, give the offensive line their credit too. But I'm looking at the backup QB situation. And that's what's concerning me. Until Foreman gets back, until Foreman is back in game shape, because it's one thing to get back and be able to play, but then it's another thing to be able to get back in game shape. So I think it'll take Foreman a little bit. I want to know your thoughts on who should assume that backup running back position and kind of why. We'll start with Swish on that one, and then we'll get Parrish's opinions. So let me know how you feel, and who do you think should be the backup running back until Deontay Foreman is ready?
This is a tough one. I actually want to wait till the week 4 of the preseason to actually give that assessment. But from what I'm seeing so far, I'm liking Pope, just off of the fact that he's able to make the catches on screens and then find his little wiggle room and make extreme rack. You know what I'm saying? Right after the catch. Yeah, yeah, you can go ahead and Parrish.
Like he said, I don't think it's like a choice to make, but it's kind of like a race. And like right now, Pope is winning that race. He's showing that he showed up. He went out against, usually a good defense in the Chiefs. I know they lost Marcus Peters, and that it's preseason, but with NFL talent in general, period, NFL players are, the best in the cream of the crop anyway. But he went out there against NFL dudes and just put on a, really good clinic. So I think it's more along the lines of like he's winning the race right now. And I would say like whoever performs in overall better in this whole preseason, then I could say, okay, that's my running back. That's my backup running back that I need behind Miller. But until then, Pope's just winning the race. So I was really happy with his performance against a stout defense in the Chiefs and good coordinators over there, man. So he did a pretty damn good job.
I definitely agree, man. I'd like to see seeing what Pope brought to the table again, some versatility, not just coming out of the backfield, running out of the backfield, being able to to catch a little bit and able to get yards, able to make guys miss. And I don't know if it was so much too. I mean, well, part of it was a good showing by Pope, but a little bit of it, in my opinion, was a little bit of disappointment from Alfred Blue. We brought him back, and I've always said Blue is a guy that takes a little bit of time to get going. He needs a little bit of consistency. But then, he's a guy that wears the defense down as time goes on. What do you see the situation kind of being with Blue overall? And do you feel like even though they re-signed him that he's going to end up making this 53-man roster, he's going to be more of a special teams guy? Or do you see him, being in that crowded backfield? We'll start with Parrish, and then we'll jump back to Swish on that one.
In my opinion, he's gone. Like for one, 4 running backs on a depth chart in general is already too much. You want to keep at least 3. So, and quite frankly, I feel like that's going to be Miller. And if Pope keep up his stellar performance, it'll be Pope and it'll be Foreman. Those are your 3 guys that you want to go to battle with. Blue's just taking up cap space. Like you mentioned, like he's that power wear you down type back, but we already have that in Deontay Foreman. And Deontay Foreman, in my opinion, is just a better overall running back. I think he got better hands than Blue. I think he can instill more power and, he can instill more damage on the defense with that power game and that power scheme. And I see Foreman coming back and bouncing back and being a good not third round, but a third down back and produce to that. So I just, quite frankly, I don't see no space for Blue on this team. He's provided good play throughout the past few years, but everybody has their time, and I just feel like it's his time now. He's a loyal Texans player, but sometimes you got to part ways in some instances, and I feel like this would be one of them.
Yeah, I had to do my little bit of shameless self-promotion for just a second. Hey, get you one of these limited edition. It makes your drinks taste better. Even though I almost choked. No, I'm just fucking with y'all, man. Get you one of these limited edition Sauce Sports mugs. Hit that staysaucy.com. Go grab you some of that. And I appreciate everybody who already grabbed some. Darren Davis, Double D, man, what are your thoughts on Blue and what is he looking like as far as this crowded Texans backfield? What do you see the outcome for him being before this preseason is over with?
I see him being primarily where he started on special teams. I mean, as Parrish just said, Pope is definitely leading the race, and when it comes down to the NFL, is what have you done for me lately? And if you're looking at the track record, Blue hasn't really just put that, good of a resume out there. So it's not looking good for him. I mean, if he wants to stay on the team, hopefully he can accept that role of, being a special teams player. But I don't see him. Other than being a special teamer, I don't see him just being anything else, because other guys are performing and they earning their keep.
Yeah, and I kind of feel the same way, man. I like Blue, like I said, even though he looked like young Dolph, preach. But I like Blue, man, and like I say, I like what he's contributed to this team. He's been he's been an asset on special teams, especially, and he's had a couple of good games. But my thing with Blue is I can't remember the game exactly coming in, but I just remember that one play he broke, and it should have been easy money. And I can't remember who we playing at the time, but he ended up getting sucked up. Well, we can't say that nowadays. Pause. That's stuff we used to be able to use back in the day. But he ended up getting caught up. You know what I'm saying, on the field, and wasn't able to get the touchdown. Should have been easy money. So it seemed like he ran out of gas. Whoever remembers what game that was, like I said, it ain't coming to me off the top of my head. Drop that in the chat, man. We'll see about getting some extra saucy love. But my thing is also, we're talking about guys who are kind of on the brink, talking about guys who are kind of on the border. I kind of want to know how y'all feel. We were talking about a crowded running back situation, but another key position group, and we're looking like we found some mid-round talent, even though I think initially everybody was kind of suspect about it. The tight end group is Steven Anderson, who, I'm a fan of Anderson. I've liked what Anderson's brought to the table, and I shout out to Anderson's mom. I want to say, I think her name is Charlene, because she liked the Know Your Texas video I did on Anderson last year. So shout out to her. That's why he got a special place in my heart. If he got a special place in Charlene's heart, he got a special place in my heart. You know what I'm talking about? But also real shit, much love to Anderson. But I do like what he brought to the table. I do like what he was, doing. But now it's kind of looking like they got him at the bottom of the depth chart. He didn't seem to get much shine until, later on in the game. I think he had a couple of catches. He had a catch, but then he had an easy drop, man. And, it's just kind of concerning, because I like Anderson. I thought he was going to be the man coming into this year. I thought, okay, he was going to overtake Griffin, and then, we're going to have these young guys. They were just going to have to fall in line. But it seems like the opposite has happened. It seems like he's fallen to the bottom of the barrel, and he's on the brink, on the bubble, because I don't see us carrying 4 tight ends. No way possible. Man, what are your thoughts on Anderson? What is he going to have to do to re-solidify his position in this team, or do you think he's already kind of got one foot out the door? We'll start with Darren on that one, then we'll holler at Scrooston.
Jordan Thomas is like,
my fault, man. I mean to cut you off. I had you muted there. If you don't mind restarting that, so everybody can hear what you're saying. My fault. I tell you, players fuck up, man. It happens.
Epic fail. Oh shit. Oh damn. I gotta rewind. Let's see. With Steven Anderson, he's been making good plays for us. So, goddamn Parrish, man. Now he's been making good plays for us, but with us taking with us taking Jordan Thomas and Jordan Akins, it's just like, okay, so will he develop more, or will he get better, or will he get buried in the depth chart? And it's a tough one, man. I mean, because like I said, he's undersized, so he's not gonna just be able to just be out there all the time, as a full-time, fullback, tight end blocking and whatnot. But if you put him in certain situations where you put him in the backfield, then you can utilize him that way and put him, get him matched up on a linebacker. Those are ways I can see the Texans using him if they keep him around. But if they don't, it's the NFL. Shit happens.
I mean, what do you think the percentage chances are that he's a Texan, or he makes the big chop, the big cut?
As of right now, I'm saying 51% that he don't make the roster, and I'm willing to keep that the rest of it as the rest of the preseason goes on. But go ahead, Parrish.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, Atkins. I mean, don't get me wrong. Atkins looked good. He caught 2 balls, 2 touchdowns, whatever. Good for that man. But Steven Anderson, I feel like that he stepped up in a big position last year. Even though like we didn't make the playoffs, even though a lot of shit didn't happen and it didn't come to fruition like we wanted to, he still delivered. He showed that he can run block. He's also good in a big solid body to get you those touchdowns. He's able to produce to something. It's not like he's just on our depth chart and not producing. Granted, I did watch the game, and that drop that he had was kind of, that's a gimme, so it's kind of like, all right, a little iffy on that. But I feel like it's more than likely, it's kind of like a week by week basis. So it's kind of like after this, I got him sitting at maybe, a 53% chance he make the team. But as it keeps progressing, because I feel like he's not going to be an early cut. He's going to be later on. If he does get cut, it's later on in the preseason. So it's nowhere near right now. So, but, I just feel like if he goes out and he, catches a couple balls, pause, no homo shit, and he just, do his damn thing, then, he got a spot on the roster, bro. That's a guarantee.
Okay. I think in the context of football, we shouldn't have to do pause. I mean, let's just leave that out of here. Let's hope that we don't have to go. Yeah.
See, he said he gonna take some balls.
You know what I'm saying? So you gotta pause it just for them niggas.
Yeah. I know a couple of names that immediately come to mind, but I ain't gonna call nobody out in the chat. But it is what it is, man. I definitely feel you. But to the next thing here, man. I want to talk about another situation. Now, this situation I don't think is as dire, but appreciate the love, Days, man. I appreciate the love with the super saucy super chat. Shout out to Days Gambino. But another thing I want to look at, I know we heard a lot of good stuff early on about Justin Reid. Then today they said, Kareem is taking an overwhelming number of the snaps. Now, I think you got a couple of factors that could play into that. One can be Kareem not want to lose his job, not want to be in a situation where a rookie comes and beats me out. I'm a veteran. I've been in the league 9-10 years now. And I'm liking this safety position. I'm trying to really be the man here. Or two, they're saying, hey, Reed's going to need a little bit more work. We're going to want you to go ahead and take the majority of the snaps, Kareem, because, you're a little bit more solidified in this situation. Because we saw Reid get plenty of playing time on the field, this game. And again, as it was mentioned many times, we're talking about Travis Kelce here, one of the best in the game to do it. And he struggled a little bit. What are your thoughts on Justin Reid? What are your thoughts on his situation and kind of Kareem, taking over at that role right now? Do you see Justin Reid overtaking him sometime during the season once he gets a little bit more acclimated with the NFL speed of the game? Or do you think it's basically Kareem Jackson's position to lose? We'll start with Scrooston, and then we'll get to Darren Davis on that one.
I mean, as safety I feel like I'm real high on Justin Reid because I went back, I looked at some stuff, and I definitely seen some things that stood out to me that he could be a really good asset to the team. But as far as Kareem goes, Kareem is still, he's still an athlete, still, somebody that we hold in high regards on our team. He's been loyal, no problem. But I think that Justin Reid, if he develops in the way that I feel like he can, I see Justin Reid taking over eventually, and they'll find something for whatchamacallit to get back to Kareem Jackson. I mean, whether that's bringing in him on dime subs or moving some shit around in corner if he proves himself back in corner. Or if they have them on different situations, depending on whether they come back, with safety, you need some more run support. You bring in whoever's better at that issue, or you need some good superb coverage. You bring in whoever else you need on that issue. But I think with Cornell, he's gonna make the right choices, and he's gonna put the right person on the field. And I quite frankly, I see Justin Reid developing pretty well, and I'm rooting for him. So hopefully, he does get the start sometime in the near future.
Swisher, your thoughts on Justin Reid, the Kareem situation? Kareem seeing significantly more snaps in practice, and kind of on Justin Reid's performance in the game against, again, like we said, one of the better tight ends in the mix in Kelsey. So what are your thoughts on Justin Reid?
I mean, it's Travis Kelsey. I mean, it would be different if it was some bum, doing that to Justin Reid. Then it could be justifiable, but it's Travis Kelsey. I mean, that one missed tackle that he had, it's like, are you really gonna crucify him for that? But Bill O'Brien is known to be a hard ass like that, so it can happen, and that just like how we as the fans were sitting here saying Watson should have started week 1, that didn't happen. Now I know that was mostly due to Rick and all that, but I would like to see Justin Reid out there just off of the fact that he has more tools to work with, better tools to work with. But, I mean, those guys, they the coaches, they get paid to do it. And if they want to put Kareem out there, they're going to do that. That's just my spill on that.
My thoughts on another thing. We stick on the same side of the defense ball. Like I say, I like Reid. I do think that before too long, I think it's just he has to pick up a few of the little nuances of the game. Again, a situation where you're actually going against a team who is in competition with you, not actually trying to help you get better. So I think that's kind of the situation with Reid. I think once he gets a feel for the speed of the game, and he'll adapt, and I think he's going to be all right. I think I could see him being a mid-season starter. That's what they picked him up for. I mean, that's what the valuable third-round picks that we had were for. But I kind of want to talk about the defense while we're still there, and I want to talk about a couple of things. First, I want to talk about JJ. Got to give JJ a little bit of love. A lot of people are saying JJ Watt is the front runner for defensive MVP. Now, I like JJ. I love what JJ brings to this team. And if he is back to that form, excellent. But I don't see how the same people who would say, Watson won't bounce back from, his particular injury when we've seen him do it, or seen these other guys around the league, can automatically give a guy who's missed a significant amount of time in 2 seasons, about 26, something like that, in 2 seasons, and fucking out of there, man, and just out of there. So, I mean, my thing is, like, I don't want to hate on the man. I'm not trying to talk down on the man, but he's missed a significant amount of time. The little bit of time we did see him last year, he hadn't registered any sacks. I'm going to learn how to speak to them. I'm learning this new English language. It's pretty cool. So when I get it down, y'all going to dig that shit. Didn't register any sacks. Again, we could talk about Vrabel, and we could talk about how bad of an impact Vrabel had on this defense, which was significant. I mean, shit, he'd already went and made Tennessee look bad in a preseason game, but it is what it is. That's the Vrabel effect. But I don't know. I mean, like I said, and as a Texas fan, we try to be realistic. It's not just hate on JJ or anything like that. But, I mean, I think we got to see him on the field against some competition before we start crowning him, back in that Defensive Player of the Year. Because, I mean, there's been some other guys around the league who have emerged as significant talents. You know what I mean? And so I want to know your thoughts. Again, like I said, we'll start with Double D, Darren Davis, and then we'll holler at Screwson and get his thoughts on that. Do you see JJ Watt back as Defensive Player of the Year this year?
This can go either way. I mean, because just like we saw Watson, come back from his injury, it's something that can be done, but looking at it realistically, I mean, we can't just ignore the fact that he was hurt the last 2 years. I mean, as a Texas fan, we would love that, yeah. But overall, it's 50-50. I mean, he gonna have to go out there and prove it. I mean, this is the 1 year in JJ Watt's career, in my opinion, where he's actually had to go out there and prove it, versus, everybody just saying, I mean, like the local, not just the local media, the national media saying he's the man, he's the man. Now that pressure is finally being put on him to say, okay, you got to go out there and be healthy for a whole season and produce. And not only we want you to be healthy, but now we want you to win Defensive Player of the Year. That's a lot to put on this man's plate. And I'm perfectly fine with 85% JJ Watt just being that. You know what I'm saying? I don't necessarily need him to be 100% and then go out there and get hurt again, because that does a disservice to the team.
Parrish, Scrooston, Take Over Sports. What are your thoughts on, and again, I saw that the 335, shout out 335, because it was Vegas odds that put him there. But, Vegas, they have some inside information. They go with a lot of information from other sources and things like that. But do you think that Vegas is overreacting? Should we put some money betting against this? I mean, what lane should we get in if we're talking about J.J. Watt being Defensive Player of the Year in, 2018 season?
Look, bro, y'all got to stay woke, bro. It's the white man effect, bro. He the last white man left, bro. They trying to take over. They want him to win. No, I'm fucking with y'all. I'm just fucking with y'all. Niggas gonna be believing that shit. It's gonna be like, oh my God, you're right. Nah, but he it's unpredictable because you don't know, because we haven't seen this man in 2 years. The last time we seen him, he was actually, he ain't look too good, hurt himself. But you just don't know. If he come back and he is the best defensive player in the NFL, then congratulations to that man. If he's 85% of that, congratulations. 75, congratulations. But if he come back and he's still shit, then now we have to. I feel like in that situation, if I feel like that he's on the skid, I would want to trade him immediately. And I'm gonna just explain this in just a little bit more detail. I'm not gonna go too long with it, but basically, I'm saying why his value is still high during the season, because you don't know, and he's a big name or whatever. You can get that for other stuff that we need, especially when I'm looking at old dude. What's that rookie's name on the D line that was just tearing shit up in the preseason? Yeah. If that man keeps playing like that, goddamn. Shit, I would have so much faith in him, bro. And we could use JJ Watt for some other shit, or we can get some shit back. We can do a lot of stuff with that, but I'm just saying, in my opinion, but that's where I'm going with that.
No, man, very interesting that you mentioned Duke, because that kind of transitioned to the next comment, the next thing I want to talk about. I saw y'all in the chat talking about Duke and who's a better player defensively, if it's Duke or if it's Dylan Cole. I think Duke is, like I just said, I put in the comments that Duke is on an upward trajectory after we saw that performance. But, again, got to see it in a real game when it counts against, a complete team, not, bits and pieces. But what he did go up against Kansas City starters. And he did have some night. I mean, he had moves, and so that's the thing. That's what I like about him. So, but my thing is, right now we've seen Dylan Cole do it consistently throughout several games. Minus the ones he got injured, but even come back and shit. Even in this game, made significant plays. So I'm not going to sit here and say Duke is better just yet. He's going to have to kind of prove it a little bit more right now. So I'd have to stick with Dylan on that one. But I would like to know your thoughts. How would you feel? We'll start with Parrish, and then we'll go back to Swisher. How would you feel about Clowney becoming a full-time end and moving Duke to the starting outside backer in his position? What are your thoughts on that? And if you were to do something different, how do you feel about that?
That's the shit I've been wanting my whole fucking life, man. I've been saying this, bro. If you've been watching the sauce, if you've been in the sauce, and you know who I am, I've always said I wanted Clowney's hand in the fucking dirt. I don't want him up doing that other shit because every single time he do that, he get hurt because he's not saying that he's not athletic into where he can't transition into another role, but in South Carolina, he a DN. That's where I want him. So I fucks with that hard. So I hope it happens.
Definitely agree with you. Just to expand on that for just a second, we're gonna get Swisher's thoughts on it. But my thoughts on that is, man, you know, playing DN formerly, and I had to make that transition outside linebacker. It's a whole different ball game. You know, going from your hand in the dirt to really have to stand up, to making them open field tackles, to really be able to make reads and do things like that. And it's a thought process. And you hear these guys talk about playing fast all the time. You hear Watson talking about now he can play faster because he understands the playbook. You hear Zach Cunningham talking about he plays faster because Cornell is giving him a better understanding. He understands, you know, the playbook. He understands, you know, the reads better. When you're a natural end, when you just have the instincts to play defensive end, you have the skill sets, that's just your talent. When you have to kind of translate, and I'm not saying that he was bad at outside linebacker. That's not what I'm saying. But when you can play free, you're not worried about dropping into coverage. You're not worried about doing all that extra shit. Your job is to get to the fucking ball. I think that you would see a much more significant stat line from Clowney. Everybody always talks about, oh, when he doesn't have, you know, the sacks. It's because he's doing everything else. He's not just simply rushing the passer like a lot of these other guys are. He has to worry about coverage. He has to worry about a lot of other responsibilities. And I think if that was taken off his plate and they just say, hey, Clowney, go get the motherfucking ball, I think you would see a biggest, most monstrous year from Clowney. You'd see that guy that we've all been trying to or been craving to see since, you know, day one, if that was to take place. Now, Swisher, what are your thoughts on that? Would you like to see Clowney playing it in and maybe, you know, move a guy like Duke, because we see what he's able to do, you know, in the spot where Clowney is now?
Man, I've been wanting that to happen. I've been saying that for so long that I thought I was gonna go crazy, you know what I'm saying? And I'm glad to see that it's happening, because now you know for a fact he's not gonna just get hurt, you know, on some freakish accident type shit. You know what I'm saying?
It's too much sauce.
With Clowney's hand in the dirt, you know for a fact you're gonna get the best out of him. That career play, the play that basically made him who he was, he made that play as a defensive end. When he got to the pros, he made that same exact play in the preseason with his hand in the dirt. So, I mean, good things tend to happen when his hand is in the dirt, and bad things tend to happen for the other team. And as an end result, we end up cheering. You know, so with Duke Ejiofor, you know, playing outside linebacker the way he was, dude had a monster explosion off the line. And I was just, you know, taking my own little notes and was like, man, if he can develop another counter move other than that inside spin move, dude will be deadly.
So here's my spiel there. You said Clowney has his limit. That's not even true. He definitely hasn't hit his limit. Again, like what a lot of people don't think about, and like I say, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. That's what makes the sauce. Mr. Coon, sir, is that, again, you brought this guy. He didn't do any of that shit in South Carolina, and then you bring this guy in and ask him to do put a whole nother load of responsibility on his plate at the NFL level. Again, like I said, that's the whole thought process. Like I said, I don't know if you ever played football. I don't know if you know the intricacies and details that go into being a lineman. It's you're always in the trenches. It's a little bit different. You know, it's your reads are a little bit simpler as opposed to playing a linebacker. And so I have respect for the linebacking crew, even though y'all don't put in work like the D lineman. We in the trenches every day. Anyway, but my thing is, man, Clowney has not even. I don't think he's reached his peak at all. I think that last year he probably could have had a significantly better year, but again, you had Vrabel, who's not able, you know, basically controlling everything. He had nobody taking any pressure off him. He was still able to make significant plays when everybody was keyed in on him. There was no outlet. There was no Merciless. There was no JJ. You know, in the years that JJ's thrived, you know, he's had other guys. He's Merciless. You have to pay attention to you. And I'm not saying that's the only reason JJ succeeded, but what I'm saying is there were other pieces that you had to pay attention to. Once pretty much everybody on that defense went down last year, besides Clowney, I mean, everybody keyed on Clowney. He still was making plays. You know what I mean? He was still playing very significantly well. He just was in a situation with a shitty defensive coordinator and a lack of health on the team. So I don't think that I don't think so. I don't think he's been utilized properly. But I mean, you can't be a wrecking force all the time when you're dropping in coverage also. So I mean, you're not going to be able to pursue a quarterback in that sense. Again, it's what they're asking him to do. He's not necessarily being what we expect to see. We're not seeing those Michigan plays, but when we do see him actually, I mean, and that's not true because I mean, have you watched him stop the run? I mean, do you see what he does when he does rush the passer? I mean, he is a destructive force. I mean, motherfuckers are afraid of what Clowney brings to the table. Like, I'm afraid for other people when Clowney be on the goddamn field. But, you know, we'll carry on from that. Oh, yeah, first let me fix that. Next thing I want to kind of discuss, I saw somebody talk about Webb. We can talk about Webb briefly. I'll be honest, I liked some of what I saw from Webb. I liked the footwork. I saw the mobility from Webb. I'm going to be honest, his passing wasn't really that crisp, and I think he may have kind of hurt a couple of guys with some of that bad pass. He was throwing a little low on a couple of them, and he wasn't really leading guys to where they needed to be. And so, again, it looked nice when he was, you know, breaking out the pocket. He shook a few guys off. You know, he broke a couple of tackles. That did look nice. But overall, Webb is going to be a third-string guy on this team. And Brandon Weeden's passing is significantly better, much crisper, much more on point, much more. Brandon Weeden's not a bad quarterback. You know, he just got a bad rap. I mean, you're talking about the Browns. I mean, everybody, your careers go there to die. You get drafted there to die. That's why Baker Mayfield's already over with. You know, Baker Mayfield's already canceled. And the Cowboys, he couldn't win with the Cowboys, but Weeden's actually won games with us. So I'm cool with Weeden where he's at, and I like Webb, but he's probably, if he's going to be on this team, he's going to probably be a special teams guy. You guys have any thoughts on Webb? We'll start with a Swisher, and then we'll get to Parrish. Your thoughts on Joe Webb versus Brandon Weeden?
Position where he had to play, at least you can run some of the similar things that you would run with Watson. Other than that, it's Weeden's job to lose.
Okay. All right. Parrish, your thoughts on the Webb versus Weeden backup quarterback? We have a backup QB controversy. You know, that doesn't happen very often. We have a backup QB controversy. We don't have a starting QB controversy anymore. Now it's a backup QB controversy. That's what we've gotten to. What are your thoughts on that situation?
I love weed, and you know, I mean, he balling out. He showed me some different shit when I was watching the game. Like his precision, his accuracy, the way that he was, like his trajectory, like everything. Like, and he ain't no stiff dude either. He was kind of mobile too. He was moving, and he got that footwork, and he got that vision. So I feel like he'd be like pray to God he don't. But if Deshaun Watson go down with some type of injury or something again, and like I said, I'm not wishing that on that man, but I would feel confident that Weeden can come in and win us some games to like either prolong it so Watson come back, or he just maintain it to the playoffs and we have like a little Eagle situation, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how I view it in a sense.
Okay. We had a couple of texts come in on the sauce. I want to make sure I address those, so I apologize if I hadn't been jumping on those. Let me go ahead and read those real quick, and then we'll kind of spill some sauce on that. Shout out to Chandler, man. He says, I think the reason why Deshaun Watson, the media is hyping up every team in the NFL except Houston, because the media is always giving us no credit when we're versus the Patriots. Almost got the win there against the Seahawks game. He says, shout out to Honcho, Darren, and the Parish. And I agree, man. It's just it's kind of funny, man. And I kind of was thinking about it, and shout out to Heidi because she kind of put this thought in my brain a little bit. I mean, outside, it's our team, okay? So we love the Texans because it's our team. But let's think about the national media's perception of the Houston Texans. I mean, are we in that same conversation as the Browns, the Bengals, teams of that caliber? Maybe the Jets kind of in that conversation. Are we on that level, or is that how we're viewed? I mean, are we just excited because this is our hometown team? We pay it, we pay more attention, so we know what's actually going on. But I'm talking about the outside opinion of the Houston Texans. Do you feel like that's kind of how the media sees us, as one of those lower tier teams that has had a little success here, a little bit of success there? Because I mean, we've won the division when the division was considered trash. Now it's a whole different ball game. But nobody talks about the AFC East being the Patriots are the only real solid team there for years. But for some reason, the Patriots are the GOATs. But they win it all. It is what it is. And so, give me one second. We're gonna take some sauceline calls here in just a second. I see some folks calling in, but about after we finish these two texts here. And I mean, do you feel like they see us in that same conversation, Darren? And then we'll get Scrooston's opinion on that.
Am I on?
Yes. 10-4, you're on. I got you.
All right. Am I on? My bad. Could you ask that question one more time, sir?
Oh, this nigga here, god damn it. I was saying, the national media, do they see us in the same categories as the Browns, the Bengals, and the like Jets type teams?
Oh man, I hate to have to say it, but they do consider us like that, and it's weird because we know us as Houston fans, we know that we can compete with almost anybody when fully healthy. Yet you have Vegas with that bullshit about how we supposed to be here and all of that other shit, and it's just a bunch of controversy. But I don't know how or why they have us ranked so low. But like you said, New England, their whole division has been literally trash. That's what, 12 wins every year. Oh my god, my phone powered off. I'll be right back.
Happy birthday in the background. Whoever got the birthday going down. Shout out to the happy birthday in the background. It's your day.
That's too much sauce.
Happy birthday from the sauce.
Bruh. I'm back here geeking, dog.
Oh, man. Man, your thoughts on that, Scrooston, man? Like, how do you feel that the media views outside of Houston? Do they see us in that Browns-Cleveland conversation?
My man's a geek. But, no, bro, I really don't feel like that because they be on our nuts, honestly. Like, they be talking about Hopkins, they be talking about Watson. Like, especially after this game, we answered some questions. You got Watt coming back, you got Mercer's coming back, you got Clowney coming back. And in most predictions, they even got us winning the AFC South, even though the Jaguars just tore shit up last season. You know what I mean? So, that's crazy. Like, that shit. I mean, it's just crazy because I really feel like they view us in high regards, like as a real elite team. So I don't see where they would think of us as less than that. And if they did, then they wouldn't be talking about us the way they do and the way that they rip and rave about it. So.
Okay. I appreciate that love from Dage, with the happy birthday love. You know what I'm saying? Stirred up some super saucy love with that. So the question came in and said, hey, Honcho, can you ask Darren and Paris what they think of the Titans getting 31 points put up on them with no A-Rod? Well, Darren didn't abandon us for a second. He'll be back. But your thoughts on that one, Scrooston?
Man, the Titans are boo-boo. That's the simple answer. They're just not good. And Mike Vrabel going there thinking that he can be a head coach, but he's really he's just a defensive coordinator basically as a head coach motherfucker. Like, what is he finna do? Like, this man finna have the best run defense, like a motherfucker, but have the shittiest fucking secondary and the shittiest offense. Like, they're not going to be good. I think that they finish behind the Colts. I really feel like that the Colts will be better than the Tennessee Titans.
Okay. Yeah, I
Just
think
facts.
I think the Colts could surprise some folks this year. They won't be better than us, but they'll definitely be better than Tennessee. Tennessee, man, it goes as your the culture of your coaching goes, and we know Vrabel just ain't able, man.
Too much sauce.
Man, Savage Rock
Shout
and Roll,
out to
appreciate the
Honcho
love.
from Savage Rock and Roll. Hashtag WTMFD.
Man, what's the motherfucking deal, Savage Rock Roll? I appreciate that super saucy, super chat love. Man, shout out to the SA. You know, much love. So we'll open up the sauce line. I saw we had a call and I missed it there. But we got the sauce line opened up. And, you know, for your calls, you guys want to call in, you know, speak on a couple of things. But while we got that going, I got a couple more topics that I wanted to chop it up about. We covered these two things. I want to get your opinion on the Braxton Miller situation. Now, Braxton looked solid in the game for a while. He had, I think, 3 catches for about 26 yards. But will he need a full preseason to kind of solidify himself on this roster? Because I'm thinking, you know, we've heard so much coming out of camp with Sammy Coates. We saw Coates making a couple plays, you know, getting some DPIs and things like that, you know, getting some penalties, drawing some penalties. And I feel like we've heard nothing but raving and ranting about Kiki. I felt like Ellington has already established his position. You know, he's solid. Hop and Fuller, I mean, there's no point in even talking about them. But like I said, you got Hop, Fuller, Coates, Kiki, and Ellington. That's 5 guys right there. And if the Texans decide to carry 6, you know, is Miller that guy? If they don't, I mean, what do you see the outcome being with Braxton Miller with this team?
I mean, if Miller goes through the whole preseason solid, like, and he stay healthy, then I feel like that he has a good shot of making it. I think that it's going to be really surprising because I really feel like it's going to be Hopkins, Fuller, and Kiki. Honestly, I think Kiki might break into the starting role, bro. And he looked like, to me, I see so much potential in that man, like just the way that he execute. And I think that before I was saying that I would rather move Fuller to the slot, but I'd rather have Kiki in the slot and keep Fuller at the 2. I think that would be a kind of sick ass wide receiver corps right there.
I agree with that. And like I said, I'm ready to hopefully that he the hammy heals up because I'd like to see him in action. I mean, we've heard so much from him coming out of camp, you know. And again, I think that kind of, you know, you kind of see that eye test. And again, you know, you got an experienced guy in Braxton, and then you have there you go, the Swisher man. Hold up, let's get you. What are your thoughts on Braxton Miller, man? Is he safe with this wide receiver core we got right now, or do you feel like he's a bubble guy if he doesn't have a solid preseason?
Ooh, this is again a tough one, and I want to wait till week 4 to actually give my assessment on this because that other tall dude, I forget his name at the moment, but he was balling. Kiki, when he comes back, he's gonna perform well. It's tough to say.
I did myself bad, but I do think, like I say, I like the new Braxton Miller we've been seeing because again, like I said, he seemed a bit more productive. He seemed to be a little bit better with the hands, like he's kind of picking up those nuances of the receiver position. But you know, could it be one of those situations where it's too little, too late? When you know, if they were really confident in him, do they go out and pick up a guy like Kiki? You know, or do they use that for one of the many other needs that we have? And that's kind of where I'm questioning it. And I'm thinking, like, you know, Gaines makes some moves. I'm looking at the tight end situation. You know, hey, of course, you know, players that picks were used on are going to be viewed as more valuable than the undrafted guy. So, you know, maybe they're going to go in that direction. But I'm wondering with Kiki if they consider him a steal. You know, hey, we thought Braxton was going to be something, but, you know, maybe not so much. And I think he's going to have to contribute significantly on special teams also if he's going to find a role on this team. And that's kind of where I think that he can kind of solidify. But, I mean, still, Kiki's also, I think, has done a little bit of returning, too, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm not sure. I I see y'all having a little. I'm trying to see what's going on with this little argument y'all having with what is this, a Watt versus Clowney conversation? Because we can talk about Clowney with that pick. That pick was nice. That's definitely an outcome in the game. So that's that. I'm just curious about what y'all got going on over here. I'm trying to see what y'all talking about. Say why I can't get the sack against the Pats playoff game. The Sean Clowney showed up. Okay. I see what y'all got going on. I'm just what y'all talking about. He said he had more impact than Watt. He said, how you gonna take it to Coot? Okay. I mean, everybody's supposed to say that's what makes the sauce so great, man. Everybody has their own opinions. Everybody has their own thoughts. Everybody has their own sauce to splash on the whole situation. But I'm thinking we're gonna kind of start winding it down here. I was waiting on a call or two. I saw somebody call earlier. If you want to call back and spill your sauce, somebody did call it. Did not go through? Or was that from her? No, that was actually from a little bit earlier. That was from the earlier call. So if anybody would call in, now's your chance. If not, we're gonna wrap it up. We're going to wind it down. But we will be in the Cush Den this evening at 10. And we'll be talking about what is success really. And that'll be the topic of the evening. Shout out to everybody who came through last night's Cush Den. It was a very, very intriguing conversation. Okay, hold on. We got a call via the sauce line. Let's see who we got. Who's gonna splash a little flavor. Hold on. Oh, we need 2 more likes, man. Hit that like button, man. All right, what's the motherfucking deal, man? Who we got calling on the sauce line this evening?
Hey, brother, it's El Lobo, man.
Oh, what's the motherfucking deal, El Lobo?
Hey, man, y'all doing good?
Man, absolutely, man. How are you, man? I hope all is well.
Yeah, man, just busy week, man. Tired, man. Still not going to be doing anything this Saturday, but anyways, I was going to ask y'all an interesting question. At least I felt like it was. At least, should Clowney be playing with his hand in the dirt full time at this point? Because I just feel at least right now, don't put too much stress on the knee when he's trying to, take that edge rush and everything. I think that he would be much better served to keep at full time defensive end. But that's just my opinion. Hey, what do I know? I'm just a civilian watching football, but. And also, how do y'all think Duke is going to be a full-time starter, or do y'all think that he's just going to be a situational guy? And I'll listen to you on the sauce, man. Talk to y'all later, man. It's good to talk to y'all.
Man, I always appreciate the call, El Lobo. Man, always good to hear from you. You're doing all right, man. I appreciate you calling in. That's a good point. All right. That's a good point that we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier briefly when we were saying that I definitely agree that Clowney should be a full-time defensive end. Let the man play free. Let him not worry about dropping into coverage. But then that could be the thing that hinders Ejiofor with his coverage skills, maybe. Because I don't think we really got a chance to see too much of that. So I think that might be a factor as to whether or not he could be a full-time starter. So I think we'll see a little bit more as time goes on. With Clowney kind of still healing up and them taking it kind of slow with him. He may have those opportunities to show that he can cover and that he does have those abilities. And if he does, I have no problem, letting him start. I mean, he shows that he has significant pass rushing skills. If he can cover adequately, I can see him find his way into a starting role. You put Clowney on that edge and just let him eat. Let him wreak havoc. Nothing's getting outside of Clowney. Let him contain nothing. Nothing will get outside of Jadeveon Clowney. And I have no worries about that. Your thoughts on that, Swisher, and then we'll get to Screwson on his opinion on
that. I like the fact that if we do, play Clowney as a full-time defensive end, I definitely can see a lot of good things happening for us. Now, again, I look at things a little bit different than everybody else in certain goal line situations when they are going to pass the ball or, or at least attempt to pass it. Well, I'm not going to say attempt. If they are going to pass it, we've seen over the past, that bigger guys, they tend to just throw it up and let those guys high point the ball. And it's like, when are we going to finally see that stop? So I feel like in certain situations, not every time, but certain situations, you allow Clowney to just be that guy to where you can say, okay, you're not going to that option. And in the NFL, if you stop and have to think for just a second, the rush will get there. So, like I said, 95% of the time, yes, I want him being a pass rusher strictly. But occasionally you can sprinkle it in, and it can probably produce an even better result than him rushing. You never know. But that's just my spell on it.
Okay. All right. Parrish, your thoughts? Could Duke be a full-time starter? And if so, do we make the move to put Clowney full-time fingers in the dust?
Wait, am I answering the Duke thing too or no?
Yeah. I mean, it's all kind of one whole
shebang. Yeah. With that being said, of course, I would definitely like to see Duke Ejiofor out there. Now, of course, time will tell how his coverage skills are. So as of right now, I want to see him doing what he's natural at, which is rushing the passer. We've already seen what happens when you start trying to play a guy out of position as a rookie. Clowney ended up getting hurt. You don't want that to happen with Duke Ejiofor, who's showing you promise. So, yeah, as of right now, I want him to just be able to rush the passer as well.
Okay. And Parrish, your thoughts with the Duke situation, and if he's capable of, like I say, coverage, and do we put Clowney in the dirt?
I mean, if he keeps proving himself time in and time out, then that needs to happen, because I feel like if that's where Clowney feels more comfortable, that's where we get the best production for our team, then that shouldn't even be an issue. Then that should automatically be done. So I just feel like that should be taken care of, and Clowney should be full-time in the dirt, because that's where he's been the best at. So I feel like there should be no argument about that. That's where he should be. And if anybody wants to argue with that, I mean, I'm willing to, like, nigga, I got time. Like, I'm willing to argue. Like, I don't give a damn. Nigga, I'm willing to argue. So I don't know what the fuck they be on, but I'm with that shit.
Okay. We'll get a little sauce raffle in real quick, because I forgot I hadn't activated the raffle, so I want to make sure y'all got a chance to get y'all sauce. So if y'all don't know, man, if y'all would like to have the chance to win you one of these lovely, exclusive, make all your beverages taste better Sauce Sports mugs, hey, you just win whoever has the most sauce at the end of the month, you will receive some type of sauce merch. But I think I'm gonna keep these going for the end of the month, and I might change it up. I don't know how long I'm gonna carry these, so I may be switching services that I use. So these may be a limited time only thing. So get yours while you can. So if you don't want to buy one, you can win you one. All relevant text to the sauce line will get you 50K sauce. All calls to the sauce line, with valid points, not just sitting there saying howdy, hello, and giggling and cackling, ckin and shit. We'll get you 100K sauce, man, because the whole point, man, like I say, the sauce is all about you. You guys are the fresh ingredients, your opinions, your thoughts. Y'all may see things in a different perspective than what we do. That's why there's so much variety in the round table, because people have different opinions. People see different things, and it's all about, you bring those things to light. Sometimes you guys will say something in the chat. I'll be like, you know what? That motherfucking me completely slipped my mind. And so I appreciate it. I appreciate y'all. You guys are what makes the sauce so motherfucking fresh. With the logo on the mug, no, I don't have shirts with that. I will. But I have to deliver on something, so I have a list of folks that I owe some shirts to, because I had something going over that I didn't get done earlier in the summer, and I'm gonna get that done before the season, and then I will open up that logo. I'll be selling shirts with that logo after I get that other little task taken care of. But they will be coming soon prior to the season, so that will happen. Appreciate you, Lobo. Appreciate you following through. So pretty soon, probably within the next week or two, I will have those shirts available. But I will have some other shirts going on starting Monday. I have a couple other designs that'll be available. The what's the motherfucking deal shirts are coming, and I got a special one for the sauciest of the saucy that I think y'all gonna like. So like I said, we got a text coming in. Let's see what we got here on the sauce line. It says, if Kiki is out for all preseason games, would you be worried, him being a rookie and needing to get work in? Man, that's a very good point, a very valid point, because, they said the biggest knock on Kiki right now is his ability to read defenses, and I think that's something that you need to see in real time. I mean, film helps. Don't get me wrong. Film can be very significant, Hey, get your ass up there on the drawing board. That can be very significant. But film study and play breakdowns, things like that, there's nothing supplements the real deal, seeing it on the field, recognizing disguises, things like that. Because they said once he gets that down, he may be a force to be reckoned with. So I would be a little bit worried. But if they're liking what he's able to bring to the table right now outside of that, and they just kind of want to save him for the regular season, and that's just the plan, like if he's healthy, but they just don't want to risk it, I would be a little concerned either way. Because, you as a rookie, you need those preseason games. That's experience that you need to get, when it doesn't necessarily count, as opposed to being in games and, those plays hindering you. What are your thoughts on that one, Scrooge? And then we'll get Swish's thoughts on that.
Repeat the last part.
Basically, would you be worried if Kuti is out all of the preseason games?
I mean, that is a significant thing to worry about, because that's supposed to be a big part of what we're supposed to be doing, and his development is very important to the team, and definitely that's something that we should be evaluating and making sure that we make the best judgment on something like that. So I'm hoping that everything is okay in that regard, and hoping that we can bounce back from whatever injury that he has, and that he can prove that he's able to do the things that we're looking forward to him doing. So but that does hurt. That hurts a lot, because if he's going to be a big piece, you're missing out on a big chunk of that. So
I think it hurts him just off of the strength that, like the old saying goes, nothing helps you improve your game other than playing the game. And with him being out, it's not he not gonna be able to just go out there and get those reps that he need to work on reading defenses that he normally would. Now he's having to spend more time in the film room. It's like you said, film, it can only do so much, but once you get on the field, you have to be able to read and react. And with him not being available at the moment, I do think that can hinder him, and I think that's just that part alone. I think that's what might give Braxton Miller his extra lifeline to stay on the team.
I definitely agree with that. I think Braxton needs to take full opportunity of this. Take advantage of another man's loss. Not hopefully not a permanent loss, but hey, you got to come up when next man up. That's what it's all about. If it's your chance to shine, sometimes things work in a mysterious way, and you got to make that shit shake. But here, this is what we're finna do, y'all. We're finna wrap it up. Just like you should do if you're out there being promiscuous. Make sure you wrap it up. Hey.
Don't be lacking, bro. Age is forever, my nigga.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we say, look, we may talk crazy, but hey, we want y'all to be safe out there. Ultimately, that's what it's all about.
You gonna keep that shit forever like luggage. You better wrap that shit up.
Oh, man. But with that being said, man, I fucks with y'all Sauce Nation. Man, I want to shout out to Paris. I want to shout out to motherfucking B Double D, Darren Davis, man. Y'all make sure y'all go check out the channels. Links should be in the description below. And make sure y'all check it out. I definitely got them in my feature. Man, before we get out of here, Paris, I want to ask you one thing. And we're going to have to link up, man, before this happens. But I want to know your thoughts. Khabib or McGregor?
Bro, you don't know how sick. Bro, I watched that whole press conference, bro. I was so sick. I got McGregor like a motherfucker, man, and I'm taking that shit to the bank. What? I'm about to get rich, bro. I swear to God, on me, I'm putting 3 stacks on this, and McGregor gonna win that bitch, and I'm gonna at least have some money, bro. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen. I guarantee it. McGregor gonna knock his ass out. Smooth.
What? Okay. Look, we ain't gonna get into it now. We're gonna have to get a breakdown on your opinion on that on when you get some time, man. We're gonna have to talk about that one. I definitely want to hear your thoughts on this one, man. But with that being said, man, I appreciate each and every one of y'all, man, because y'all take the time, and time is the one asset you can never recoup. Like, see, look, you go bet some money on McGregor, you can win that, you can get more money. You know what I'm saying? But you can't ever get no time back, man. So time is the one asset that you can never recoup, man. And so I appreciate y'all taking time to stir up some flavor with the sauce. Hey, man, make sure y'all check it out on Instagram, on Twitter, SauceSport HTX on both of them. Hold up. DD3, you know what I'm saying? That little Darren Davis, you know what I'm saying? Okay, what's up, little man? What's the motherfucking deal? But man, make sure, like I say, y'all show some love, and like I say, hit the links description below, man. Go show Darren Davis some love. Subscribe to his channel. Go show Scrooge and Takeover some love. Subscribe to his channel, man.
Y'all can't see my son yet. Y'all got to sub to my channel and shit. I might drop. I might bless y'all. Yeah. I might.
Shout out to both of the new daddies. You know what I'm saying? They knew what the game brought some young men into this world. Go raise them to be, strong young champions, man. You know, look, they're gonna be taking titles from the likes of McGregor's and all them others and all that good shit when it's all said and done. But man,
stomping mud holes.
You heard me? But like I say, it's all good, man. I appreciate y'all. Yeah, Kush Den at 10 o'clock. Den at 10. You know what I'm saying? What's up, man? Man Up will be joining us in the Den tonight. So definitely looking forward to that.
Camera back
I know
on
y'all
you.
love that. So with that being said, chunking up the deuce for my mixer crew. Y'all already know the 3-figure peace side, man. Y'all don't know about that unless you're the mixer crew. But with that being said, man, we out. I fucks with y'all. Y'all be cool like y'all be cool. But most of all, y'all stay saucy. We'll catch y'all tomorrow.